Welcome everyone to the first episode of the Pyramid Sports Network. We are extremely excited to have you all here on this journey and couldn't be more blessed to have the opportunity to provide this type of content to everyone that'll listen and to do this with three of our great friends. Just kind of giving an overview of Pyramid Sports Network. We have created this brand recently, but it is in conjunction with the already founded Fall Bar Baseball podcast, which is hosted by Kevin Barnett and Ryan Fallman. And then we will be adding three more podcasts to our channel, including the Cut the Nets podcast, which will cover college basketball. We're going to add Cover Zero, the Cover Zero podcast, which will cover the NFL. And we're going to add PSNFC, which will cover world football or soccer on somewhat of a weekly basis for all of these. We're going to try and produce as much content as we can. Our main outlets for putting out our content are going to be YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Those are really the main ones that we're going to try and put as much content out for you, with the full podcast being on YouTube and Spotify. We'll produce clips that will go on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And then our Twitter will just be kind of any train of thought that we have about a game that is going live, going on at a given time, or any notable event that's going on. So really what we wanted to cover in this first show is kind of all of our whys into why we want to do this and why we love sports so much, to the point where we want to start a podcast network. So I'll go ahead and start off and say that I began playing sports at probably 3 or 4 years old, played baseball my whole life through college. I grew up outside of Philadelphia, and that kind of bled into the rest of my life, which, being a Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers fan, has pretty much become a religion to me and has really dictated my happiness on a lot of Sundays, which I wouldn't want it any other way. And it's become, to this point, kind of a familial thing for me and my parents and my sisters to root on the Birds and root on the Phils and everything any given day. And it's really just become a pride thing for me at this point, is being a Philadelphia fan. But overall, I just love sports, and can't really go a day without thinking about a sport or thinking about a game that I want to watch, or checking in on scores and whatnot. So I'll kick it on over to Kevin and kind of get his story and give the floor to him.
Yeah, so like Quinn said, if you know me or know Ryan, then you're probably familiar with the podcast that we've been doing. The fall ball is going to stay exactly the same. We're going to hope to get at least one by Christmas, maybe two, hopefully two plus by the new year. I'm going to be on YouTube and Spotify, just like always. And then I'm going to be starting Cut the Nets with Brady, which is going to be a college basketball focused podcast. That the first recording for that one's actually going to happen tomorrow. So that'll get rolling pretty soon. I'm from the Boston area. I'm a huge Red Sox fan, Celtics fan, Carolina Panthers fan when that happened. I've always been the biggest sports nerd of the group. Whenever someone has a stats or random player question, I'm usually the guy with the answer. And it's motivated me to just always want to talk about sports as much as I've wanted. I've done a couple podcasts in the past. I've had dreams of doing big sports podcasts and having events where I get to talk about something that I really like and really care about, and people will listen. And even if people don't listen, whatever. I love sports. I love to talk about it, kind of doing it for the love of the game. So that's basically it for me. Fall Bar Podcast will be coming back. Cut the Nets soon on YouTube and Spotify, and also the Pyramid Sports Network accounts will be active, sending out tweets, being in Instagram comment sections. We're going to try and get as much engagement and talk with you guys as we possibly can. So I'll send it over to Brady.
I'm Brady, a huge sports fan. I always have been since as long as I can remember. Specifically basketball, that's my forte. Go Celtics, of course. But over the recent years, it's kind of transitioned into college basketball, which is my favorite here. I feel like I know every team, every player. That's just since high school. I just like to stay tapped in with them. I like to watch them go to the league, and then obviously hope my Boston Celtics get the best players. So I'm a huge Celtics fan, huge sports fan in general, and I'll pass it around here.
Yeah, so same here. Fall bar is going to stay the same as it was. Big time sports fan all around. My allegiances go to the New York Giants, the New York Mets, the Atlanta Hawks, which is a weird one, and the Clemson Tigers, um, which means that I have a little bit more sadness than happiness when it comes to rooting for my teams. But within that, I have grown for a great appreciation for sports statistics, for free agency of all kinds. I especially like football and baseball, and that's why I'm doing the Cover Zero along with the Fall Bar. But I've always been in on free agency. I've always been in on, you know, who deserves all stars, who doesn't, who deserves Pro Bowls, who doesn't, what is good about the game, what is bad about the game. Ever since I was in like middle school, I've always wanted to know all the players, who's good, who's bad, and why. And I can remember for as long as I've been alive, me and my brother kind of going back and forth on stuff like that. So, yeah, just love to talk ball, um, love to talk all kinds of ball. Um, so yeah.
I will add just before we wrap things up here, it's a absolutely amazing time to want to talk about and follow sports right now with the heat, maybe probably the midpoint of the MLB offseason. The NFL playoffs are about to start, the college football playoff, which is always something that people are going to have strong
Huge.
opinions about, is happening this weekend. And then, well, the NBA Cup's kind of whatever, but the NBA season's progressing along. Some superstars could be on the trade market with Giannis and Anthony Davis. And then college basketball conference play is about to start. Bracket projections are changing every week. So we felt that this was the perfect time to really do this because we're having these thoughts and having these dialogues, and we might as well just formalize it and organize it a little bit and get it out so people can hear it and we can expand the breadth of who we talk to about these things. So it really is a perfect time for us to get the ball rolling on some of these things.
100%. And I would think kind of the biggest thing for me is, well, like you said, Kev, that, regardless of how this goes, we're doing this for ourselves and for, for our love of sports. And I think this goes for, all of the viewers and listeners on whatever platform you may be, and that we're also doing this to have a way to engage with you wherever you may be. And that can be through polls that we'll put out. That could be through DMs and seeing different ideas anyone has. That could be through the comments section, that we will be, very hands-on and are, very dedicated to this idea and really want to provide a safe place at a platform for people to discuss all things sports. So just, yeah, it's really exciting. I think we're all pretty excited. And if anybody has anything else to say, just, I think I've covered all my bases.
Two thumbs up.
Go Michigan, go Celtics. That's all I got.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, well, thank you guys for listening to this first edition of the Pyramid Sports Network. Keep an eye out for the next edition of the Fall Bar podcast that will be coming soon, and a soon-to-be edition of not only Cut the Nets, but also Cover Zero and PSN FC. Thank you all.
Thank you guys. See you soon.
Peace.